What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Or if you're new here, welcome. I'm the Wolfman, or today, Robotic Wolf, because we are bringing the 3 episodes. Well, maybe 3. I know it's for sure 2, but I have a third maybe on the way, depending. But the 3 episode event today for the first episode of Halfway to Halloween. I do it every year to get you guys pumped. We're 6 months away to Halloween. And at this stage in time, you may be like, man, I've seen a lot of horror movies. Like, what am I going to watch for the spooky season when that time comes? Well, we're here to help you out early and give y'all a little bit of a different taste this time with robotic horror. And we're just going to kind of do a deep dive and talk about them and give our top 5 robotic horror movies between the two of us. So basically a top 10. And that should be a really good time. And see, hopefully, maybe some of these will pique your interest. And it's a very interesting topic considering so much AI stuff is coming out today, whether it's movies, whether it's songs, whatever it is, AI is just taking over right now, and it's in the conversation. And there's been so many movies made about AI. So I was like, there's enough to do for a ranking list on this and for a discussion for sure, whether it's old films or whether it's new films. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see this list, and it'll be interesting to see like what both of our tastes are like for this. I'm very, very proud for the first time to be joined by my good friend Zachary Shelton. Thanks for joining, man.
Thanks for having me. When you announced that you were doing this series again, I thought, why not come on and give my thoughts on a certain horror genre. And I'm not the biggest horror fan, but this is a genre that I feel like I've seen some movies in, and I got to see a couple more, but I thought it was a cool topic.
Yeah, no, it was a really cool topic. And I even, when you pitched me the 2 topics to talk about, I even reached out to some of my team members, and I was like, which one should I do between these 2? And they were like, oh, the robotic one easily. They were like, that's actually really more interesting, and can bring up some fascinating topics and such. So I'm excited to get this conversation going. We'll kick it off, guys, just going with films that aren't on our list, but we just want to talk about and highlight. Some of these we might mention aren't going to be the best films, because at least once we get to our 5, they're all good. But the ones that aren't going to be on the 5, some of them might be good, some of them might not. It's just because with the really good AI films that we get, we also get some very shitty AI films as well. So we'll it'll be very interesting to see where that all lands for us. So since you are our special guest today, you are the guest of honor, we will allow you to go first. What's the first film that you want to mention?
So these are not on the top 5, right?
No, not on the top 5, but just ones that you want to throw out.
Okay, I'm trying to remember the date of this one. Okay, so the first one is in 1986, and we're going to Maximum Overdrive. The only Stephen King directed movie, and it had such a unique concept, and it was so ridiculous. My issue, basically, Earth is caught in a comet, and all machines come to life and try to kill people. And then these group of people have to come together and try to battle things like semi-trucks and lawnmowers and things like that. If you like my issue is the first 30 minutes, if you want total ridiculousness, that's what you get. I felt like after that, it kind of lost a little steam, and it lost the ridiculous. So it's one that I was excited for, but it just did not keep up the pace the entire time.
I totally get. I totally understand that. I've not seen Maximum Overdrive myself yet. I have heard about it through you. Actually, you texted me about it, and I looked it up, and I thought, that's really interesting. So one day I'll have to definitely look into that and check it out. Speaking of ridiculous, that's actually a good segue because the one I want to talk about, I am bummed didn't make my list, man, because I have a blast of this movie. It is utterly ridiculous, but that is Chopping Mall. This is basically a film from 19. It's in the 80s. I forget what year exactly, but I know
It's actually the same year,
oh,
1986.
86. I was thinking that. I was about to say 86, but I was like, I didn't want to make a fool of myself. But yeah, 1986, Chopping Mall. It's about these uh, teens who are like, I think they spend the night in the mall, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they decided to spend the night in the mall. And when they do that, there are these killer robots who look like the Daleks from Doctor Who that are basically hunting them down, and instead of saying exterminate like Doctor Who, they're just killing them in the most ridiculous fun ways. And this is such a goofy film. And with an amazing title and amazing poster, by the way. That I love that 80s poster that they have, but they have interesting actors in there like Kelly Maroney, Tony Adele, Barbara Crampton. She's the big one that's in here. Barbara Crampton, for all you horror alumni, she's been in like You're Next. She's been in From Beyond, Reanimator, like a bunch of different horror movies. So she's a scream queen of her own right, and so it's got a really good cast. All the characters are really fun. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember just having a blast while watching it. And one of these days, Austin and I are going to have to do both Maximum Overdrive and also do a Chopping Mall for our drinking games. Have you seen Chopping Mall?
Yes, and that's all I'll say.
Oh,
for
I respect that. What's the next one you wanted to bring up?
The only other one, well, it's tough. Because there are a couple. You know what? I'll bring up this is one I actually watched this past week. The original House of Wax from 1953 with Vincent Price. So, it definitely is an interesting movie of this wax creator who basically gets his building gets set on fire with him inside, and then he comes out and he is a completely different person now and trying to basically create creature statues out of real people. And it's again, it's not that great. The acting by Vincent Price is good, and I think it's a good story. It just doesn't have the best execution.
Yeah, I completely understand that. It's been a while since I've seen it, like a long time. I gotta check that one out again. But I know Vincent Price is a phenomenal actor. He can anything he's in, he can always kill it. Sometimes it's hard revisiting those type of films, because at times, even though they are well acted and even though they have some of these other great elements, they are a 50s movie, and sometimes you can tell. Sometimes it's like some stuff doesn't hold up quite as well. I've even noticed that with some of my favorite classics as well, but I still love those. So that's a good one. One of the other ones that I wanted to mention, I'll bring it up. It didn't make my list, but it was kind of the talk of when it came out and was a big deal. And that is M. Thregan, as they call it, or Megan, which was the one you see in the thumbnail. It's this experiment that this girl is doing for her niece because the girl lost her parents and she's like alone, so she's trying to make this like friend for her, and it's just like experiment that she's testing in this, and called Megan with a 3 in there.
Mm.
And y'all basically know the plot. Megan goes off the rails and then does some stuff, and this movie is not really, I thought it was a little overhyped. There were people who were really loving this movie, and I thought it should have leaned more into the ridiculousness, and I thought it should have been even more like gory and over the top. I That is why I am extremely excited for the second one. Despite not being a fan of the first one that much, I'm extremely excited for the second one just because that trailer, I was a howling hyena from laughing so loud. It was, they better actually make it that ridiculous and not take it seriously. She becomes a full-on Power Ranger in the movie, and she's in the trailer, and she's like fighting this other taller cyborg lady who's like a Power Ranger now, and all. It was like, what is going on? It was wild, and I loved every minute of that trailer, and I hope that it gets as ridiculous as that and sticks with it, because this one took itself a little too seriously for me, but it was still fun. And I liked Megan as a character, and I thought that was fun, and the whole dynamic she had with the little girl was pretty good. The performances were good. Is it one I really revisit that much? No, but it was a good, solid one-time watch kind of deal. So
it's kind of funny because that was the other one I was going to bring up. That's actually at the bottom of my list. Is that one, because everything you brought up, I thought it was overhyped, and I wanted it more ridiculous. What you got in the last 15 minutes is what I wanted throughout the entire movie. It's like that's the part I wanted. It just like it was too much of a build up for that, and it just like, and I haven't seen the trailer for the second one because I just wasn't a fan of the first one. So I don't know if I'll see the trailer, but I just was not a fan of the first one. So
I get that. I still would recommend the trailer, but the thing is, like I said, I'm worried about it because I'm worried the trailer is showing all the ridiculous parts again, and making and giving my getting my hopes up that it's going to be this ridiculous sequel that it's promising.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. So I guess since I already mentioned yours, do you have another one? Anyone moving up?
Yeah, this is I'll give one more. This is a movie that I really enjoyed the first time, and it was actually in my original top 5. And then I watched it again, and it was not good at all on a rewatch. And it's probably, I don't know if it's a movie you've ever heard of. It's from 2019, the Banana Splits movie.
Yep, I actually saw that movie. Yeah.
Yes, like the first time I thought it was kind of interesting because it's like, oh, okay, the concept, and it has unique kills, and it still has those things. But then you now rewatching it, you get too much into the stories of all the different people, and it's just like, I don't care about any of that. So just give us the kills, give us the unique concept, and that's all. So it was originally in the top 5, and it dropped down from it.
I know that this became kind of a craze to make not only childhood kind of TV shows into movies, but the whole animatronics in movies, because the best one for me, I don't know if you've seen this one, I'll give it a shout out, even though it wasn't the one I was going to mention next, but the one I am going to mention next still has to do with animatronics. But Willy's Wonderland was a blast. I thought that was this with Nicolas Cage. That is something that takes the Banana Splits and Five Nights at Freddy's, but ups it because of the ridiculousness of Cage in there, and just him going all goofy and wild throughout the whole movie. And that one was was just exactly what I wanted. Banana Splits Yeah, I agree. The kills were pretty fun, but I didn't care about the characters. They were all obnoxious. I just wanted them to die, and I just didn't care that about the story. And I thought I was taking itself way too seriously. Was it better than the Five Nights at Freddy's movie?
Yes.
Yes, I will say that it was better than the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but that's also not a high bar. So,
No.
so, uh, so yeah, I I don't really recommend any of the kind of, oh, let's go to a Chuck E. Cheese ripoff and the animatronics are coming after you. But if you had to see one, guys, I would recommend Willy's Wonderland. The next one I wanted to bring up, probably my final one I'm gonna bring up as well, is a Christmas film actually. So this is a film that is on Shutter. You can watch it on Shutter now, and and it's called Christmas Bloody Christmas. This almost made the five. I It was very close for me. I had a hard time leaving it off. The reason this is such a great movie for me is one, the lead character in here is just so good. She absolutely kills it in the role, and basically what this is about is as an experiment goes wrong and it summons a killer robotic Santa Claus. Yes, this is a killer robotic Santa Claus. And he literally shoots lasers out of his eyes and all this stuff. They go full on crazy with this. But it was great. Yeah, Riley Dandy was the girl's name. She was great in this. It's shot almost like an 80s movie. It's got that film grain aesthetic to it and everything. And so it's done to look like one of those cheesy kind of 80s slashers that you see from back in the day. And so I thought that was really fun. Came out in 2022, so it's fairly recent. And I thought it was a pretty fun Christmas movie that I'll revisit every now and then with some great kills in there and a really interesting kind of story. But I had to leave it off my five because looking at the end of the day, my five are all quality films, and I don't think this is actually necessarily like a well made like film. Like, oh, look at the cinematography, look at the writing, look at this and that. I don't think anything is like that on my list, or to warrant being in my five. But I still think it is a really great movie. So I'm gonna say Christmas Bloody Christmas.
And I will say, when I was researching this topic, that was one that was mentioned, and I just did not get around to it. So
yeah, it's yeah, it's hard to get to every single one of these. I mean, there's so many out there, but that was one that definitely it's on Shutter. If y'all have not seen it, it might be streaming on other places too now because I know Shutter sometimes will do that. Definitely check it out over the holiday season. It's definitely a fun one. So I guess we're ready for the top five. So I'll start with you. What is your number five?
number five, you mentioned it earlier, and it's why I did not say much about it, and that is Chopping Mall. Chopping Mall is my number five favorite robot horror. Again, going into it, this is a movie I had wanted to see for years because I had heard people raving about it. And all I'll say for people when they go into it is just know that it is going to be super ridiculous and super over the top, and and you'll enjoy it. Yes, the acting is not good, but it's but I still had fun with it, and even the score was really what was something that I really liked in this. But I just thought it was a cool concept, and that's why I have it at number 5.
Yeah, that no, it was a really cool concept, but also fun, and actually leans into the ridiculous, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I kind of compare it in a way, and it's not as good as these movies, but look at things like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It has that ridiculous factor in there. Even something like it, I know people don't like this movie. I like it. It has the Sharknado effect to it. It has that ridiculous part to it. So,
oh yeah, for sure. It has that Sharknado aspect to it, except for me, even more enjoyable
yeah,
than Sharknado. It's one I definitely gotta revisit again. The last time I watched it was on the Joe Bob show for any of you Shutter fans out there. But it really
yeah. And like I said, the only thing I'll say is if you want to see it, just know that it is super over the top and super ridiculous.
Oh yeah, just know that it's not going to be some high art kind of teaches you a lesson about artificial intelligence or whatever. So yeah, just know that going into it. So my number 5 is one that I put it at 5 because I know technically some people would classify this more as action than it would be horror, but I feel like basically what happens to the character and everything is horrifying, and there's gruesome enough kills that don't even feel like a quick action kill. It's like, oh, that's taking its time. That's like a brutal horror kill kind of deal. And this one's called Upgrade, which is basically it stars I like to call him Tom Hardy's twin brother, which is Logan Marshall Green. It came out in 2018, and it says a brutal mugging leaves Gray Trace paralyzed in the hospital and his beloved wife dead. A billionaire investor, though, soon offers to Trace a cure, an artificial intelligence implanted called STEM that will enhance his body. Now able to walk, Gray finds that he also has superhuman strength and agility, skills he uses to seek revenge against the thugs who destroyed his life. So it is mostly action because of the combat and everything, but there's definitely some horror elements that are in there. And I think the performances are all really good. I think when they do the action, when they do the kills, those are all excellent. The villain is a slimy scumbag that you hate, which is like perfect. And I think the way that they show this artificial intelligence is something that's really creepy. Like really just because of it's ridiculous. The movie is ridiculous, but they also find a way to make the artificial intelligence aspect of it feel also realistic, which I appreciated. So it's available on Netflix, guys. If y'all are interested in checking out Upgrade, then y'all don't have to upgrade any tier to see that. Y'all can just see that on Netflix as is. It's a really good movie, so definitely recommend that. What's your next one?
Okay, the next one is actually the most recent one that I've seen for this, and I had heard about this movie because of one of the stars, and she was a big reality star when this movie came out, and I'm going with the 2005 version of House of Wax with Paris Hilton.
Oh yeah, House of Wax. Yeah, that's a good one. I totally forgot.
Yeah. So off the top, I'm not a big fan of puppets or dolls, and this movie, it's a little creepy and it's a little unsettling when you really get into it, and it's just like these teenagers would find the way into this town that's occupied by like these by this wax museum, but you come to find out that this town is not what it seems to be. And I don't want to give out any more because I want people to see it. But it's something. So.
Oh man, yeah, the House of Wax. You're talking about the one from the 2000s, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I know that it's a remake, but I enjoy both the original and the remake. The remake is kind of fun, 2000s nostalgia.
Yeah.
The original is also really solid, but yeah, that's a good one. It's got enough of that 2000s kind of cheesiness to it too that I adore in those kind of movies. So that's one I like to revisit ever so often. So it's kind of convenient because my next one on my list is also one I just saw for this, which is called it is The Artifice Girl is what it's called, and this is basically about this young, kind of my age kind of guy who decides to make this program. He's being interrogated by the FBI first and everything because they thought they caught him on these like chat rooms doing stuff illegal, but then they find out that he basically created this AI system through these chat rooms that is super hyper real and super intelligent, that is modeled after a little girl to be able to catch these online sexual predators who are, coming after young girls. So it's a really kind of deeper movie in what it's conveying and what it has to address topics wise. And it's very profound. It's a film that reminds me a lot of Coherence, where although that film blew me away even more, I always recommend that film, but where in the sense of the actual cinematography, the directing, all that stuff, not all that impressive. It's not that kind of a film. What this kind of film is it's heavily reliant on its script, on the screenplay, the writing of it. That is what is keeping this film together. Without that, it fails. And I think it works immensely here. I think the writing is utter perfection with the topics it has to bring up about what it means to be human, about connection, about all these other really powerful themes, all just interwoven in there. The actress who plays the little girl, I think this is her first movie that she's been in, and she absolutely knocks it out of the park. Makes you believe she's an artificial intelligence, but also just when she starts to get emotion behind her, you really feel that. And I think it's just extraordinary. So that is one that I think is now definitely high on the radar, which I could have seen last year, but I'm going to always recommend this one as like an unseen gem. I wish I would have seen it last year when it came out so I could have had it on my Hidden Gems episode. But this one I definitely recommend as a hidden gem. It's on Tubi for free if you guys have not seen it. The Artifice Girl is the next one I wanted to bring up. So what is your number 3, my friend?
Okay, my number 3 is actually, we're going a little more classic with this one. We're going back to 1973, and we're going with Westworld.
Nice. I've only seen the TV series, actually. I've never seen it.
Yeah. So basically, this company creates these 3 different worlds, kind of like resorts you can go to: medieval world, Roman world, and West world, where it lives out. You can live out your fantasies, and these robots will do whatever you want to enhance it. But somehow a glitch happens where they don't follow their programming, and they start killing the tourists. And now you have to have now these the main two people have to try to survive from this gunslinger played by Yul Brynner. And while on a rewatch, it loses a little bit of its charm just because you're watching it now, but it still has a lot of that charm and a lot of that horror still to it of not being able to, to trust anymore, and just glitches happening and running for your life.
Oh yeah. No, that's one that I definitely want to get around to seeing, and I wish I could have seen it because I love the TV series. Well, at least I love the first season. It goes really off the rails really fast. The show does, but the actual first season is like a straight up masterpiece. But the rest of the show is very hit or miss. And the but I loved the idea of it, the concept of the show, and so it made me really interested in checking out the movie. So I'll have to check that out when I get the chance at some point, for sure. My my number three, and I know this is probably some more recency bias, is one that just came out this year actually, and it is. I want to keep in mind. All right, I'm gonna throw this tag out there for people because trailers can be really stupid and marketing teams can be really dumb. And for anybody who at this time, I guess now it's okay to say that this film is about a robot, but for anyone who didn't know, that Companion, the movie with Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid that was coming out, was about a robot. I'm sorry, but the trailer, the actual second trailer, not the teaser, that was like brilliant, where they're just eating dinner and then her arm's on fire automatically, and she's like, "What?" Like, and you're like, "Whoa, what the heck is going on?" Not that teaser, but the main trailer for this movie spoils straight up everything. Like, it tells you not only about her being a robot, but if there are other kinds of beings like that in the movie, it tells you shows you some of the other kills in there. Like, it tells you so much. And I was like, this is ridiculous because they play out her being a robot as almost like a twist, because these two, they have a little meet cute at a grocery store, and it's really adorable, and you think, oh, this is sweet, this is clever, and you find out that later he ordered what are your pleasure bots. Basically, he ordered one from the internet, and he's basically formatted a relationship with this girl, but she is not real, yet she has a bunch of memories, and they're memories that he also shares. So it's not like anything that is her own memories. She's like, but she's like, I don't get this. I have memories. I have emotions. Like, yes, I can enhance your emotions. I can make you cry. I can make you laugh. I can do all this and basically has all this stuff in there that she can do. And this was really interesting because you find out that he was basically using her to do. I don't want to spoil what happens because the trailer basically tells you everything, but he was basically using her to do something for him. And once she finds out, then all shit kind of hits the fan. And it's a really interesting story about companionship, obviously, but also just about how, like, underestimating those around us, overestimating people around us, making sure that are we are with the right people, and it's a really fascinating kind of story, but also really fun, spunky, great humor, and it's got I think Harvey Gulen is his name as well, and he was from What We Do in the Shadows TV series and a few other things like that. I love that actor, and yeah, Sophie Thatcher absolutely kills it in this role. She is excellent. The film is, because it's Warner Brothers, it just now dropped on Max. So if nobody has seen Companion, go to Max and check it out. It's a really fun time, for sure.
Yeah, it's one I had heard of. I heard about. I just never got around to seeing it. So
yeah,
but now I'll have to add it to my list.
Yeah, and now that it's streaming, you can definitely check it out for 2025 catch up. But what is your number 2 on here?
My number 2 is probably one of the most popular ones in this genre, and some people might not consider it to be a horror, but I think originally it was designed to be a horror movie, and that is The Terminator. The from what I had read about, I think this was a while back, that they intended for the first one to be a straight up horror movie, and it definitely shows with the introduction of Arnold Schwarzenegger and hunting down Sarah Connor, and you bring in Kyle Reese to protect her, and it starts the good franchise. It could have gotten better in other installments, but it's a really good, thrilling movie.
Nice. Yeah, I love that one. It will be on my list, so I'm going to talk about it a little bit more further soon. But that's obviously a great pick. My number 2 is the film that I think in life it left me the most paranoid. What I mean by that is this is the film that made me realize AI is going to kill us all. And it is called Ex Machina. And this is from director Alex Garland, who gave us Annihilation, gave us recently Civil War and Warfare. And this is about this guy, this like kind of tech savvy worker played by Domhnall Gleeson, who gets invited to basically explore this new demo for this new technology that this guy is working on, played by Oscar Isaac. And when he invites him in, Oscar Isaac is a super rich guy, has like this huge mansion and everything, and he's gets to have these like these kind of interviews, I guess you will, in this room with this girl, this artificial intelligence that is played by Alicia Vikander, and she does an amazing job in this film, and everyone does an amazing job in this film. And this film really does scare me, even though it's more so on the lines of like a thriller than it is a horror necessarily. This one still scares me because I'm not going to spoil the ending for those who have not seen this film, but it's jaw dropping. That's all I'll say. And it made me really start to question stuff about AI and about it taking over. And I remember when this film came out, and I remember the Oscars happening. You know, it seemed like Mad Max Fury Road was just sweeping every single tech, and so they had the visual effects category, and they were about to open the envelope, and me and my friend were like, "It's gonna be Mad Max Fury Road," and then they opened it up and actually said Ex Machina, and Ex Machina won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, which was really cool because it was like an A24 independent project, and it won Best Visual Effects at the Academy Awards. And I thought that was really cool and very well deserved because of the way that they designed her body in this. It's all done through practical, a mix of practical with CG, and it was done really, really well. And I just think, yeah, there's so many interesting discussions to be had with this film, and an amazing dance sequence. If y'all love dance sequences in movies, you get to see Oscar Isaac move, and it's really fun. So
Yeah, and I actually talk about the Oscars for a second. I actually watched a video. I think it was like a couple weeks ago where people thought that she should have been nominated for acting for Ex Machina, Alicia Vikander. Like, but people think that she should have been at least been considered.
yeah, I definitely think she should have been considered. I think that was definitely a tough year for sure. But I think that she definitely should have been considered because it's hard to play an artificial intelligence. You have to have the certain look to you the whole time, and the way she does it, where she'll move her head like a certain way, like this, to make it like she's an artificial intelligence, and then she'll like hold her mouth a certain way, and then her eyes will be all like a certain way. It really is interesting. I think the key reason why she didn't get a nomination is because of the subtlety behind it. It's weird because it's both subtle, but it's also not, because you're doing a lot of physical acting when you're moving your head around, when you're doing that and that, but you're not really emoting, So it is pretty subtle in that sense. Yeah, but she's great. I think the film definitely should have gotten an Oscar nomination for screenplay for sure, because I think the script was phenomenal. I think it was only nominated for visual effects, and I think it won for visual effects, if I remember correctly. So it won what it was nominated for, which was cool. But yeah, it definitely should have been nominated for more. What's your top tier? Your number one, my friend?
It's actually a movie that it's another one that you mentioned before in your outside the top five. Willy's Wonderland is my number one movie. This is just such a fun movie. If you're into that sort of, just like, this is another one that's just so ridiculous, that like so over the top. But it's one that you said, if you're going to look for an animatronic horror movie, this is the one that you should watch, because it has those jump scares, and it's creepy at times, but you also have Nicolas Cage in here, and I don't know if this is a spoiler or not because it came out years ago. He does not say a single word in this entire movie, and I think that makes him more badass. He does it completely silent, except for a couple of grunts, but that's all he does.
Yeah, I both kind of loved that aspect of it, but also disliked that aspect of it, because I love when Nicolas Cage does his whole zany, like, okay, man, and he like starts speaking, like saying all this goofy stuff, but he does that all in his physical comedy in this one. So
yeah. And these kills in here, and it's not even that, but like, the other thing I liked about it is, like, with these movies you get backstory usually at the beginning of a movie. They don't tell you the backstory until like halfway through, and it's just like, I kind of like that, because it's like you understand now what you're going to get, and it doesn't have to be at the beginning of a movie. So
yeah, no, I agree. I think that's even smarter, because you want to intrigue people by what you're watching, and if you just give them the backstory then and there at the beginning of the movie, like some of the other animatronic movies that we talked about, then it just, all the interest is now down the toilet. You just are like, I don't really, I'm not as invested in this. I'm not as interested in this. There's no mystery behind it. But yeah, there's definitely mystery behind that. And I think all the little designs of each of the animatronics here was really cool. And the fact they used all practical effects work for that was really great. And yeah, I love Nicolas Cage in here, but I love the whole cast as well. I thought the one girl that was with him was really really good in here.
Yeah.
The one sort of, I guess you could say, uh, detriment maybe is that the other characters. I mean, but I guess you had to have
Yeah.
these kind of people. The other characters were,
I was gonna say the acting wasn't good, but like they were there for story purposes. So
yeah, and they were there for story purposes, and they're they're having a fun time. You could see and you could tell that every single actor is having a fun time,
yeah,
and and you know, and it just makes it their deaths all the more entertaining when you don't like the other side characters, but at least you like the
yeah,
two main ones that you're following.
yeah. And I'm not going anywhere near those sorts of places anytime soon. So
No. This is the one that did the job for me because it even has more so than Five Nights at Freddy's and Banana Splits movies. It even has like when he's first entering there and you are first looking at the animatronics before they actually come to life and everything. There's some kind of creepiness behind
yes,
it a little bit that you're just like, oh, I no, thank you. So that's a great one for the number one pick. I have an absolute ball with that. Every time I watch it, I laugh so hard. So that is a good one. Nicolas Cage, such a versatile actor, man.
yes,
He can do ridiculous comedies like that, and then he can go do like a serious drama
yeah.
and give like an emotional performance, and he can just go back and forth like that.
I was thinking about it: leaving Las Vegas and Pig, and then Willy's Wonderland. Nobody like
No one else has a filmography that that wild out there.
yeah. It's like,
So it's only Nicolas Cage does. I mean, I know that he said one time they asked him like why he goes back and forth between these high quality movies and some of these ridiculous kind of straight to VOD or kind of movies, and he says he just loves to work. Literally write him a script. He'll read the script, and he says that script can be complete shit, but I'll read it and say how can I give it 100%, and he does like every time, and he gives it 100% for sure in this.
yeah,
Yeah, really great. My number one is one that was also talked about earlier on your list. It's the classic, the one that a lot of these other AI films would not have existed without it, and that is the original The Terminator, which is just a brilliant horror movie, and I still consider it a horror movie because the second one, it goes the route of like Alien versus Aliens, which is also a James Cameron movie, which is ironic, but it goes that route where the first one, it's the alien is kind of stalking the ship, and it's hunting you down. Then the second one is, all right, let's have the aliens fight each other, let's have them fight these other people, all that. It's the same kind of way with Terminator, where in the first Terminator, it's essentially almost a slasher movie, where he finds these clothes from these hoodlums. Give me your clothes, as he says to them, and Bill Paxton is wild with his spiky hair and everything, and having a good old time. And then he kills him, just like a slasher villain, takes their outfit, and then goes with his gun on a killing spree. And this is your introduction to Sarah Connor and John Connor, and they are excellent characters when you get introduced to them. They're just you're so invested in them and just the story and the setup of what's going on. They don't explain everything. They leave the franchise to kind of do a little bit more explaining as it goes along. But all you know is that Arnold Schwarzenegger is there to fuck shit up, and he does an excellent job. Might be my favorite Arnold performance, just because I feel like it really suits his style of acting. Because
Yeah.
Arnold would tell you he's not the greatest actor in the world either. But his style of acting is more stoic and more kind of, I guess, a little not over the top, but yeah, a little over the top slightly. And I feel like with something like a Terminator, you can do that. You can be very stoic. You can be very demanding. I guess that was the word I was looking for, demanding.
Yeah.
And that is what I feel he does really well in here. This film, I think, still has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. One of those rare films to ever hold that spot. Very well deserved. I
Yeah.
do like the second one slightly better. The second one is like in my top 50 favorite movies of all time. I absolutely love the second one.
I think I'm the same way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But only slightly. So it's like it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. It's only slightly better. So it's not like by a large margin or anything. But because the second one is more actiony and not horror, I'm putting the horror one on this list, but still a magnificent film. And I need a great 4K. Damn it, James Cameron! If you ever watch this, your 4K renders of these movies are awful. I need better ones for sure. But I absolutely love the Dominator. It's so quotable. I just everyone and it's iconic. It's the film that started it all for kind of 80s action and horror and all that. Um so yeah, and then well, we have a live comment here, but tune in to the rest of the stream if you missed it. But my favorite was Terminator. His favorite was Willy's Wonderland. So tune in on the rest of the stream if you want to hear our top 5. But running down again for any of y'all who might have missed it, who are just here, running down the top 5 again. My number 5 is Upgrade. My number 4 is The Artifice Girl. My number 3 is Companion. Number 2 is Ex Machina. Number 1 is The Dominator. So that was my 5.
And my number 5 is Chopping Mall. Number 4 is the 2005 version of House of Wax. Number 3 is Westworld. Number 2 is The Terminator, and number 1 is Willy's Wonderland.
Nice. So there you go, guys. That is our list for robotic horror movies. If y'all are into AI kind of horror, if y'all are scared that AI is going to take over the world, these movies are not going to make you feel any more better about that. So definitely recommend them for the spooky season when that time comes around. I think y'all have a blast with these. I know you, Zach, have a channel, very similar channel name to mine, but still a really good channel. Let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, everybody can find me at Movie Fan Z. Basically, I just do movie reviews, and if you would like to check them out, just come on over.
Yep, and yeah, Movie Fan Z, guys, a really good review channel. Link is in the description box below for you guys, so y'all can just go in the description box and click on his channel. Make sure you subscribe. Some good content over there. And correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't seen your newest review just now, but I think you actually just uploaded a review.
Yes, earlier today I did.
Yeah. So I gotta check that one out. So there you go, guys. You have a new fresh video to watch as soon as you all get done watching this. So as far as what's coming up on the channel on our end, we are going to be continuing this Halfway to Halloween series down the road. Next week, I'll be having a new channel on, new to YouTube in general, kind of, which is somewhere in October. She's going to be coming on to talk about it. I couldn't figure out. She loves butterfly effect kind of stuff. And then I looked and I was like, we couldn't come up with butterfly effect horror lists. So we were like, what if we mixed butterfly effect with like time loop and time travel? So it's going to be kind of a mixture of those. We're going to discuss like time loop films, time travel films, and kind of butterfly effect, kind of like your choices to determine the outcome kind of movies. So that should be a fun one, and just in time for Until Dawn, because Until Dawn fits that category, and that's coming out. So we'll be probably talking about that as well. So I'm really excited to have her on there. I've been a big fan of hers since she just started YouTube, so that should be a good time. Then I might have another one on for you guys. That's TBA. They're telling me they may or may not. They have a lot of big stuff coming up, but regardless, still a lot of great content, because we also have the Final Destination review series that we are continuing this Friday. Final Destination 3 will be uploaded. I just filmed a review with Jacob Cameron, but we'll be uploading that on Friday, so you guys can check it out. And then we're doing Mission Impossible 3. We're finally doing it. I wanted to get Zach on for this first, because I always try to get like new people on for the Halfway Halloween series. But we are doing he's going to be back on tomorrow. So that should be a fun time to talk about Mission Impossible 3 and to do a kind of a commentary on that. So that should be a fun time. And I know that we're going to be tackling all the Mission Impossibles, all the Final Destinations for you guys. We're also going to be doing more Last of Us discussions. So this Sunday, tune in for that, as we're going to do another Last of Us after show for you guys. So a lot of really, really great stuff in the realm of horror and non-horror alike. So you definitely want to be subscribed for all that and more. So thanks again, Zach, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, this is a great time. So thank you all for tuning in and watching, and we will definitely see you all in the next one. Until next time, stay spooky, my friends, and keep on watching those horror movies.